Monday morning is always very difficult. When I was looking at the responses, I thought the biggest response will be my boss made me do this. I'll try to make your Monday morning reasonably relaxed and exciting. We'll not use the lecture format. We'll have a presentation here, and I promise you there won't be long lines of text or something. It will be good and exciting, okay? Are we ready? Okay. Let the screen come up. Right. Okay, so I'll start with a very small intro. What has been the philosophy with which Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is steering the Indian economy towards a developed nation by 2047. I'll start with one instance. There are multiple dimensions of this, but I'll just point out, highlight here one instance. The strategy that Prime Minister Narendra Modi he used for taking India out of the COVID trough was a very interesting strategy. It was an investment-led growth, not a consumption-led growth. It was a well thought through strategy. It was a strategy which, despite all the public pressure, a large number of very senior economists saying that, okay, US has given this much, this country has given this much, this country has sent so many checks. Mr. Prime Minister, why don't you also send checks? But our Prime Minister, very clearly focused way, he kept his eyes on investment in infrastructure, investment in social as well as economic infrastructure, and that has really helped us come out of this growth, this trough, as a very healthy economy, which is today clocking 6 to 8% growth rate and a very moderate inflation. This is the big difference between many other countries' policies and the Indian policy, and that's the reason why India is today being called out as a bright spot in a very troubled horizon. The results are in front of us, and this is a consistent policy. This is not something which has happened just in the last couple of years. Because of these policies, India's GDP, which was at 10th position in the global league table, has today come up to the 5th rank, and over the next few years, it should be at the 3rd rank. The results of this entire economic drive towards investment today, as a structural component of India's GDP, investment which had gone down to 25%, 27% has now come back to 31%. This is what I would like you, and there are many CEOs present here, so I would like you to take note of this. The investment which was, the public investment which was about $40-ish billion every year, increased to 70-ish, then 90, and today it is 125 billion US dollars public investment. The multiplier effect of 3 to 3.5, that makes a huge business case for everybody, that makes a huge difference in people's lives, and that is what I am going to present to you in the coming slides. Of course, the factory capacity utilization has significantly improved. Job creation is today, it has significantly risen from about 600,000 a month to 1.2 million a month, and these are all formal jobs. And now I'll show you where this money is being utilized, right? The Prime Minister has given me the responsibility for 3 ministries, so I'll be talking about these 3 ministries specifically. Indian Railways, one of the largest systems in the world, 8 billion passengers every year, 22,000 trains, 7,300 stations, and 1.2 million employees. Imagine my plight when we have to do the annual appraisals. So, such a large system. Now, how do you transform this kind of system? This kind of system, if you want to transform, you have to really take quantum leaps. So, we'll start with stations, trains, security and safety systems, and then we move to the next ministry, which is telecom. This is one of the stations which has been recently rebuilt. This is in Bhopal, one of the central states in India, Rani Kamlapati railway station. The entire station looks like airport. This is another station built in Gandhinagar. This entire tall building that you see, this building is on top of the tracks. You don't need a separate land for that. This is on the top of the tracks. Totally new way of looking at things. Totally new way, new experience of traveling by trains to the 8 billion passengers. And this, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is New Delhi railway station. This entire, the 2 domes that you see, these 2 domes are over the station, over the tracks. The tender is already out. 2 bidders have already participated. Large number of pre-construction activities, which is removing the cables, taking off some of the older structures which need to be replaced. All that work has started, and this will be a reality in the coming 2 to 3 years, 4 years. So this big thinking, this kind of futuristic thinking is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is actually implementing in India through his investment in infrastructure program. Every station will have a world-class roof plaza. As we all know, urban space is very scarce. So how do we create more urban space? This is 50-acre space being created in New Delhi. Everywhere, look at the transportation mechanism, elevated roads, so that people don't have to, because the stations are located in a very congested place, most of the cities in the country. So how do you make sure? This is Ahmedabad. This is Ahmedabad again, using some of the Indian heritage structures and building around it. This is, those of you, anybody from Gujarat here? How many from Gujarat? You will recognize Modhera Sun Temple. This is the structure of Modhera Sun Temple. The modern buildings along with the traditional heritage of the country. This is CSMT Mumbai, built. This is one of the heritage structures. How do we retain the heritage and still make it a modern station? Very complex challenge, very complex challenge. But some of the finest minds have worked on it and created this design, which will be a design where people will come from overseas just to look at the stations. We are very confident. Bangalore, Jaipur, again Jaipur is a heritage city where very good heritage. So we are building that heritage into the stations while making them modern. Prayagraj, big technical challenge, because at one point of time 100 million people visit this place in a single day when the Mahakumbh happens. 100 million people visit this. So how do you make sure? It was a very big challenge, but the team has overcome it. Surat, this is the report card. My boss is very tough boss, so he'll always ask how many stations, what is the progress, so I keep that always ready. I'll come to the next part of passenger experience, that is the trains. Again, the thought process is, when some of the best companies in the world are using Indian talent for developing their products, why shouldn't the Indian talent not be used for developing products for India? So this train, Vande Bharat, this is for 180 kilometers per hour speed potential. It has been tested at 180 kmph, and today 12-13 of these trains which are running in the country, they have become a real big craze for all the passengers. And I request all of you present here, if you find an opportunity, do travel in it. I'll tell you what is so different. The design of the train has really been done very meticulously to make sure that each and every passenger experience is fundamentally different from others. If you 180 kmph and look at this glass of water, okay, 180 kmph and the glass of water doesn't spill, the glass doesn't shake. That's the intricacy of the design, and the entire design has been developed within the country by our own engineers, manufactured in the country by our own technicians. The noise level, I wish we had the audio properly. This is, okay, so compared to an airline, 100 times less noise level. And absolutely no shaking, absolutely no jerks in the train, because the design has been done with great care. Same is the thing with the safety system Kavach. Again, instead of simply copying some of the international products, we decided to develop our own product, because we see there is a huge gap in the global market space where a new product can make a big difference. I tested this product by two trains coming on the same track, running towards each other at a speed of 80 km per hour. The chairman of railway board was sitting, and exactly 400 meters gap, you'll see both the trains automatically stop. So that kind of anti-collision system has been developed in India by our own engineers, by our own technicians.
400-meter distance.
We are short of time today. Again, the way of working is totally changing. Why I want to share this point with you is, many of you who are participants in the railway, telecom, digital economy industries, the pace of work is phenomenal. This is bullet train construction from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. Phenomenal pace of construction. Within 1.5 years, 167 kilometers of pillars have been constructed. Large casting yards, excellent way of construction. Some of the finest way, new technologies of construction are being used. Many of these, all these large machines, we imported a couple of pieces in the beginning, and rest all other machines were designed back in India and manufactured in India. Some of the new construction technologies, this is a large girder of 1100 tons. So this girder transporter basically lifts this up, puts it on the viaduct, puts it on that other transporter having 216 wheels, and the launching of the girder is done in such a nice way. Oh, this is two screens, okay? See, absolutely 1100 ton girder getting launched in one go, even though there is traffic moving below it. Why I showed this is, this construction technology doesn't disrupt the normal work. The normal traffic is happening here, going on here, and still the girder has been cast without any disruption. This is the new way of working in this country. This is the energy, this is the confidence, this is the thought process, this is the vision of our Prime Minister, which is making such a phenomenal difference in sector after sector after sector after sector. Everywhere the speed is like torrid speed everywhere. October 2021, and this is January 2023. Sabamati station, February 2022, this is February 2023. That is the pace of work happening everywhere. Look at this bridge on River River Par, November 22, December 22, and that is January 23. This is the pace at which India is moving, and that is setting the pace. This is Chenab Bridge, and I'm very proud of this because even though this bridge was started in 2005, 2006, the pace of work was very slow. Things started happening after 2014. 2015, Prime Minister took many serious decisions about it. And friends, this bridge is today about 80% complete. I visited it yesterday when the track has been laid on it. And by coming December or January of 24, the trains including Vande Bharat will go to Srinagar. The size of the bridge, of course, Eiffel versus Chenab, it's just a comparison. Okay, and this is digital, my time's up. So I'll very quickly, I'm sure you are aware of the public digital platforms. Basically, the approach we have followed is that we should not leave everything in the hands of big tech. We created the government funded creation of a public digital platform. Banks join it, startups join it, e-commerce join it, businesses join it, 1.2 billion people join it. That's the philosophy we have adopted both in payment system, in the healthcare system, and in the upcoming almost every platform we are following this model of public-private partnership. Using this, basically we are coming to a situation where we can solve complex problems at a population scale. I'll come to telecom, again a huge transformation in the last 8 years. Practically from just about 6,500,000 BTSs, today it's about 2.5 million BTSs in the country. Every remote nook and corner is getting good, high quality 4G and 5G services. And some of the reforms which have happened in telecom by our Prime Minister, look at this. The average size for a permit to set up a tower used to be about 235 days. Today it is 7 days. That's the change which has happened. That's the simplification which has happened. That's what makes India as a great attractive investment destination. This is from the Wall Street Journal. The fastest rollout of 5G as we speak. The 1st of October is when the rollout started, and as we speak it's already 127,000 sites where 5G service has been rolled out. It's phenomenal pace. What's very important is, again, like Vande Bharat you saw, like Kavach you saw, like the station building you saw, everywhere the focus is that our talent should be able to create products for India and for the world. 4G, 5G technology stack, a handful of countries are today having end-to-end telecom technology. We decided to take that as a challenge, and within less than 3 years, India's 4G, 5G technology stack has been developed, and we knew that there will be many question marks when India comes up with a new product. So while mostly people would test a new product for like 1 million users, so we initially tested this product for 1 million users, then we tested it for 5 million users, and in the last December, we tested this entire solution for 10 million simultaneous connections. And the results have been absolutely good. The rollout has started from coming August, September, we will be rolling out 300 sites a day of this indigenous India's own telecom technology stack. Now we are gearing up for 6G, and our Prime Minister has always put this thought in our mind, a very clear vision. He has said that technology is not a mode of garnering power in the world. Technology should be used for empowering the people. That is what always our Prime Minister tells us, sector after sector. Friends, I thank you for your very patient Monday morning hearing, and now we'll start the next session. Thank you.
Minister, thank you very much indeed. We're going to have a little, by the way, this room is amazing. Minister, stay there. We're going to have a chat. We're going to get a couple of chairs put up here now. This room is packed, yeah? I mean, thank you all so much for joining us. I think we've got a nice snapshot of the room. It'll get up there in just a few seconds' time. Also, I want to share the results of that last panel. But let's ask the Minister the Slido question. How would you describe, in a word, Minister, the state of the tech and innovation in India? How would you describe the state of tech and innovation in India right now? One word. I love the word bubbling. We had bubbling earlier.
Torrid pace.
Yes, love that, love that, love that. Let's have a look at the room. Can we do a flip of the room just to sort of see it on the screen? I think we're going to any second now. So that's can we see the results of that Slido as well? Slido number 2. How would you describe the state of tech and innovation in India? Can we get that up on the screen behind? We're going to continue to have Slido questions and answers throughout the day. Minister, sit there. We'll get it up behind us as soon as we can. There you go. Look at that. Getting better. Blistering. Who's Mark Barton? Who said blistering? I think that was me. Dynamic, evolving, thriving. Thriving. Dr. Kathari, thank you for your essay. Very good. We only want a word, but we'll take essays. We love essays. Thank you very much indeed. Good stuff. So I was doing my research on Minister, and I went on Google, and the first thing I saw was the Minister's birthday, which is fine. We share the same birthday. Not only, hang on, hold that clapping. Not only do we share the same date, we were born on the same day. How often do you meet someone who was born on this? I mean, you meet people who were born on your birthday, but actually the same day, same age. Shall I tell you the day? Do you want to know? Hands up if you want to know the day and the date. July the 18th, 1970.
Brother,
yeah. There you go. And also, I know he's a big fan of cricket. He put out this lovely tweet the other day. There was this young girl doing these incredible strokes in the net. And he tweeted it out. He said, my favorite shot is the helicopter shot. So that should be a Slido question. What's your favorite cricket shot? Mine's a square drive. Minister, favorite shot? You're a helicopter shot guy. There you go. You've set out this amazing vision. Well done. Absolutely fantastic. How quickly do you think you can implement that vision? What are the challenges?
Already getting implemented.
Yeah.
Already it's getting implemented. As you saw on that report card, 53 stations is when the work is already getting done. That Chenab bridge that you saw, this is already 80% complete. Things are actually moving at a torrid pace. I would request many of the CEOs, if in your business plan, you were thinking of making a capex 3 years from now, I request you, revisit your business plans, make the capex today.
Yeah, please do, please do. You've got an amazing representation, Minister, in this room, from diplomats, business representation from great countries around the world, the UK, Germany, Edie said them all at the beginning, Israel, New Zealand, the US, the UK, South Korea, and many, many more. What do you say to those representatives, Minister? What are the opportunities they should be looking out for, given that presentation you gave, given the vision that you've just painted, and how can they join India as partners on this journey you're taking?
There are two elements which are very distinct. First is India you can trust. Second, whatever you do in India, you can do it at scale. These two elements will make a very big difference in whatever you try to do. If you can do a solution at a million kind of scale anywhere else in the world, here you can do it at a billion scale. So the opportunity for all of you is huge. Second, India has such a large talent pool that whatever you want to try out, new innovative items, new innovations, you have a great and a vibrant startup ecosystem. Use that ecosystem and build on that for your solution.
Yeah, it's an amazing ecosystem. You talked a bit about the 4G and the 5G stack. That's not enough for me. I want to talk about 6G. It's quite rare we talk about 6G. Tell us about the Bharat 6G vision document. How can India raise, it's rare you hear about 6G, we're just sort of focusing on 5G in the UK. How can you raise your 6G ambitions, Minister?
So last year, our Prime Minister gave us the target that in 4G, 5G, we should be equal to the world, and in 6G, we should actually lead the technology development. So we set up a very comprehensive team comprising entrepreneurs, academicians, researchers, students, a very, very comprehensive team, policymakers. That team initially came up with some ideas, then we coalesced everything, and then we thought that let us try whether we are on the right path or not. So we set out some challenges to the industry, and by today, as we speak, we already have 127 patents for the 60 technologies, 60 telecom technologies. I know 60 is about 4 or 5 years away or 6 years away, but time to start the developments today, so that as the technology matures, India should be a leader. That's the philosophy of Bharat.
India is setting the pace. You're going to hear that today a lot. India is setting the pace when it comes to 6G and many other things. What about semiconductors? It's a key industry, as we know, especially as supply chains are being disrupted in this geopolitical world of uncertainty, Minister. How important is it that India provides the ecosystem for those semiconductor manufacturers, and how key might that be for the global economy?
It will be very important for the global economy to have a trusted partner like India, and that's why we are finding huge support from, for example, recently when the Secretary Raimondo was here from US, we signed a semiconductor cooperation agreement. So all over the world there is a sense that India should emerge as a key semiconductor manufacturing destination. We have been working very sincerely. We know that it's a very complex and a very challenging industry to begin with, but we are working very sincerely and diligently to make sure that the ecosystem comes here. Everything that is required for developing semiconductor industry in India, step by step we are moving forward. It's going to be a long race, it's going to be a marathon, it's not a sprint. So we have to be patient and keep working with a laser sharp focus.
Trust, trust, trust. You keep saying that word trust. It's so important, isn't it? Trust, trust, trust. Talk to me about AI. ChatGPT is setting the world alight, isn't it? How is AI, how is quantum computing disrupting India's infrastructure right now?
Today morning we had the first International Quantum Communications Conclave in Delhi here. There were participants from about 6 countries, and some of the technologies which are leading edge technologies in quantum communications, and AI, also AI is a separate subject. So many of these innovations are now happening in collaboration with Indian startups. What's important is, there was a time when India was a technology consumer only. Today the time has come when many global developers, they would like to have Indian startups and Indian entrepreneurs and Indian academicians as their partners as the technology gets developed. Same is the case with AI. So these two technologies, we would like to use the Indian talent for developing solutions for India and for the world.
Yeah. Do you think India can produce something equivalent to ChatGPT?
Wait for a few weeks, there would be a big announcement.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that breaking news? Let's have a big round of applause. That's exciting. A big announcement. You don't want to give us a big announcement now. Forget a few weeks. We like breaking news at the IGF in a couple of weeks.
Parliament is in session.
Yeah.
So I cannot say anything outside.
There are rules. There are rules which we of course have to abide by. I asked the Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal last night. We had a wonderful dinner which he hosted, and there was a wonderful group of attendees. Thank you all who were there last night. You keep talking about startups, Minister, and I asked him, there's been a bit of disruption to the startup ecosystem because of the collapse of various banks, particularly in the United States, whether it's SVB, Signature has been under pressure, Silvergate. There's been some banks in Europe under pressure as well. He said no, there's been no effect. But I'm going to ask you this as well. Has there been any effect on the India startup ecosystem at all by the ripples from the collapse of banks like SVB, which are very important lifelines for the startup ecosystem?
I'll tell you how we responded to that minor crisis.
Yeah.
We immediately engaged with the entire startup community and made sure that whatever deposits they would like to shift to Indian banks, that entire process was flawlessly executed by collaboration between 3 different arms of the government, and not a single startup in India was adversely affected by this minor crisis. I think our banking sector is today very resilient. If you look at the banking sector's health, the balance sheets, very healthy balance sheets, just like the country's balance sheet. Banking sector's balance sheet is also very healthy today. So we have requested all the startups, don't think about putting your funds in any bank anywhere, put your funds in India, and I'll request today all the international startups, all the global startup community also, think of India as your trusted banking sector.
Let's finish off. We've got a big round of applause, Minister, we have 55 seconds. Just give us, as a wonderful start to the India Global Forum Annual Summit, the theme of this panel in the next sort of 30 or so minutes is setting the pace on technology and innovation. Give us a great call to action on India setting the pace globally on technology and innovation.
Sector after sector, friends, I welcome all the global entrepreneurs, all the global researchers, all the innovators to make India as your home for developing trusted technologies for India, for the world, for your countries, for the world.
Big round of applause. And a massive round of applause for the Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, Minister of Railways, Communications and Electronics and Information Technology. And my brother, we share the same birthday. How about that? Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you very much, Minister. We'll see you again. Thank you very much indeed.